Love it.
We love spontaneous applause. That's wonderful. Good morning and welcome to the 137th commencement exercises of the Catholic University of America, Columbus School of Law. I'm Katie Crowley, and I have the privilege of serving as the law school's Associate Dean for Administration and Chief of Staff. Thank you. I appreciate that. For the past several years, I have had the honor of watching this class take shape, often behind the scenes, but close enough to see the long hours, the steady resolve, and the unmistakable growth that has brought our graduates to this day. It is a particular joy to stand here now to welcome you, members of the class of 2026, and those who have supported you, and to serve as your MC for this celebration. Today, our entire law school community is gathered together. Graduates, alumni, faculty, staff, family, and friends in this extraordinary place, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. There's something fitting about marking this milestone here. It has a way of reminding us that even the biggest moments in our lives are part of something larger and something lasting. We're deeply grateful to the Basilica's caretakers, especially Monsignor Walter Rossi and Valencia Camp, for their generosity in welcoming us into this sacred space. And now, as we begin, I invite you to remain standing for the invocation to be offered by Father Raymond O'Brien, emeritus member of our law school faculty. Please remain standing at the conclusion of the invocation for our national anthem, to be led by a member of the class of 2026, Natasha Hawley. Father O'Brien?
My sisters and my brothers, let us pray. Dearest God, we assemble here today as women and men from different faiths and beliefs, but one in praise and thanksgiving for what has been accomplished through you. We celebrate graduation, an achievement brought about by your grace freely given, the love, the support, and the encouragement of our families and all those who truly love us, but also by we ourselves who rose to this challenge. Within this sacred basilica adjacent to where the late Pope Francis canonized Father Junipero Serre on September in the year 2015, we ask for your continued grace to guide us in our careers and all the futures that await us. Dearest God, touch our hearts with the fire of Pentecost and send us forth to live what we have learned as attorneys, as citizens, but most of all, as disciples of justice and of faith. We ask all these things with a humble faith in you today and always. Amen. Please remain standing.
So proudly we
Thank you, Natasha. You may now be seated. And it is my pleasure to introduce and welcome to the podium for his address to the class of 2026, the Law School's Dean and Knights of Columbus Professor of Law, Stephen Payne.
I instructed people at our certificate ceremony yesterday not to clap for me. I guess that carried over to today. Thank you, Katie. It's good to be the dean because I get to go first. I mean, with the president and our distinguished invited speaker in the House, you can't put them first. They have to go after. So I've learned over the past 7 years to really be able to enjoy this because I get my talk and my nervousness out of the way right up front, and then I can sit down and just smile at you all. Anyway, good morning, everyone. It's hard for me to believe that you are all graduating today. It's well known at the law school that you are my favorite class, despite what I may have said on awards night. I had half of the full-time students in 1L criminal law, but I've always loved the other half and the part-time students just as much. You're my favorite class, despite your full-time students defeating our faculty and staff softball team 2 years in a row. As Sophia so helpfully reminded us last night, both as a result of questionable umpiring, but you did officially win. This last time, as you know, I had the opportunity at the plate with 2 outs in the last inning and runners on base to tie or win the game. Alas, I am a long way from the form I was in 7 years ago, when I hit 3 home runs in 4 at-bats and went back to my office with the MVP trophy. True. And the faculty and staff went home with the championship. This time, I hit a weak pop-up to second base for the final out. By the way, where is Audrey Anderley? Did you catch that one, Audrey? Or was that? Don't worry, your diploma's not in jeopardy. It's okay. Anyway, your celebration was immediate and exuberant, yelling and screaming and jumping up and down, carrying on as though you had just won the World Series. I tried not to take it personally. In fact, I joined your team huddle, put my arms around you, and jumped up and down with you, cheering as loudly as I could. Why would I do that after we had suffered such a humiliating defeat? Why, knowing that I would be ashamed to face our team manager and my chief of staff, Dean Crowley, after whom the students named the tournament a few years ago? Because your wins are my wins. Your success is our faculty and staff's success. It's why we're all here doing what we do. And oh my, have you already been successful. I've mentioned to a few of you over the past several weeks how overwhelmed I am by how much you have blossomed in coming to your own over the past few years. The way you carry yourselves, the way you speak, the way you advocate for others. You are so much more confident, so much more professional than when you first began. You've helped one another develop to this point, ready to take on the practice of law in the world. I'd like to think that we have helped. But rather than hear it completely from me, I want you and your family and friends to hear it in your classmates' own words, drawn from several recent promotional pieces many of you graciously helped us with. Some of these may not have made the final cut of the video or the written piece, but again, I'm the dean, and so I had access to the uncut transcripts. Alexa Finkelstein said, "Thank you for seeing something in me and for believing in me to continue doing public service and continue following my dreams of helping the community. We do see something in you, Alexa. We do believe in you." Albert and I described Catholic law as a close community and almost a family-like environment where professors know students by name and face rather than just a name on a roster. This close community and family-like environment is yours forever, Albert, anytime you need it. Sarah Webster said, "My professors saw that I was capable of something before I even knew it myself." Sarah, we've always known how capable you are, and now you do too. Katie Uncle spoke about the special meaning of attending the same evening division program her grandfather completed as a member of the class of 1969, while balancing law school alongside a full-time job. I wanted to follow in his footsteps. It is hard to go to class at night and work a full-time job, but the faculty and staff at Catholic Law really make it easier to do. They provide you a lot of resources. My classmates also really help you get through the day-to-day, get through schoolwork, and still fulfill your full-time responsibilities both in school and in the office. Katie, I'm certain that your family, whom I just met, is proud of what you've done. I know that I am in awe of your and every part-time student's capacity and stamina. Alex Kagan reflected on the importance of Catholic identity in his experience here. The Catholic identity of Catholic law is something that really attracted me when I was applying to schools and has really just made me very happy to be a student here. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic schools my whole life. And just being here at a university, at a law school, that really allows me to kind of practice my faith openly and is supportive of it, with daily mass on campus, a chapel open all day, every day. It's been really great. But I also think as well that with our Catholic identity, there's a very good balancing of viewpoints at the school. It's not all just kind of one-sided, and they really challenge us to live our full Catholic lives to be truly universal as Catholics. I couldn't have said it better myself, Alex. Thank you. Jasmine Roundtree spoke of how supported she felt here by professors, staff, and alumni alike, and said, "At Catholic, I didn't feel like just another number. I felt seen and heard. I'm honored to have attended this law school and can't wait to give back as an alum." Jasmine, we have been honored to have you here and know that you and your classmates will make amazing alumni. Kiera Giaruso said, "My favorite thing about Catholic law is the relationships that I've been able to cultivate with my fellow classmates, with my professors, with the staff at the school. Everyone here is really invested in me, I can tell, as a person, and wants me to do well and to be happy, not just in my career, but in all aspects of my life. And if there's anything that I need, they're there to support me." Kiara, that is exactly the kind of place we strive to be. Finally, Sophia Gerges said, "My favorite thing about Catholic law is its community. It's easy to make friends at Catholic law because I don't know how admissions does it, but they just choose some of the greatest people." It sounds like Sophia, doesn't it? Sophia, I agree. Some of the greatest people are graduating here today, including you. I can't tell you how satisfying and heartwarming it is to listen to all of you say these things in those videos or to read them in the written pieces. I can't include everyone's, but the theme that pervades them all is how our unique community supports our students in these challenging endeavors called law school and life. Now, these were promotional spots for the school, so I'm glad you said nice things. But I do know that these things are true, and I hope everyone graduating experienced them, at least to some extent, in your own case. We haven't done it perfectly, but this school is a legitimately wonderful community. We have the best alumni who are always ready to help. We have the best faculty and staff who really know you. And that's why, among many other good things, we are at our highest national ranking ever and have some of the best job placement rates in the country. On that measure, we are in the top 45 among all law schools. Yeah. By the way, please make sure you help us out by continuing to respond to Dean Dietrich about your job developments. We are a merciful and compassionate place. You know this to be true, because despite his stand-up act on awards night, Jimmy is still getting his diploma. It was a close call. Now let me give you one secret for your continued success and make a few requests of you. The secret is that no one really knows what he or she is doing. I didn't know what I was doing when I was in your place, and in many respects, I still don't. We all have to kind of make it up as we go along, how to be a lawyer, how to be a good person in specific circumstances. But to meet the new challenges we face, we can draw on first principles, on our values, on our character, formed in the heart of our families and friends and churches, and on our training from college and law school and clinics and externships, on good habits and processes we have established along the way. My favorite strategy was to copy lawyers and other people I admired. How they wrote, how they interacted with clients and judges, how they balance their work and families. Even when I was very young, from a small rural town, how they physically stood while in conversations with others. I had no idea how to do any of these things. My point is, don't be afraid that you don't really know what you're doing yet. Nobody does, not fully, including the person with more experience on the other side of your first case or transaction. They will have doubts too, and no one graduating from law school this year is better prepared than you are to figure things out. Now let me ask you to do a few things. Did I mention that you should respond to Dean Dietrich when she asked you for employment updates? I think I did, that's not it. You are an integral part of a multi-generational community here that treats people well, even in disagreement. We live in a time of extremism and polarization. Be the lawyer and the person who doesn't divide people but brings them together in mutual care and respect, around the truth as you have discerned it for sure, but in love. It is precisely when there is strong disagreement about very important things that this is so critical. Will the good of your enemies and try to make them your friends. You will represent your school well, will help the community and promote the common good, and secure the sanctity of your own soul. And about that soul, nourish it. Don't live an unexamined life. You are a person of infinite dignity, and you exist for a very important reason. Ask what it all means, seeking God in goodwill however you can. I hope our Catholic tradition has been a blessing to you in this regard, no matter your background. Continue to educate your conscience and follow its counsel in all things. God didn't promise us an easy life in this world or even a happy one. But some joy in this life and happiness in eternity is offered to everyone. Seek them out as best you can and help others along this universal journey. Now for my last request. Remember where you came from. All of these people here supporting you who have done so much for you, your families and friends, your classmates, your teachers, they need you too. Help them whenever you can. That includes us. Remember your school. Continue to give it some of your time, talent, and treasure, so that generations to come can have the education and training and mentorship and friendships that you have had here. And yes, this is my shameless plug. Whether you've gone to school on scholarships funded by generous donors from previous generations of students like you, or footed nearly the entire bill yourself, we will always stand ready to separate you from your hard-earned money. Peggy and Mariah have your contact information. It's been one of the great privileges of our lives to watch you grow into the people you are today. Now that we're friends, don't be strangers. Good luck and God bless. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Dean Payne. It is now my great pleasure to welcome to the podium Haley Woods of the class of 2026, selected by her classmates to speak on their behalf. A member of our national trial team, Hallie has already distinguished herself as an outstanding advocate, earning top honors in competition, and as a valued member of our community. I'll leave it to you, sir.
Thank you, Dean Crowley. Before I begin my remarks today, it is my honor and privilege to acknowledge the class marshal for the class of 2026, Professor Joel Alisea. The class of 2026 has chosen Professor Alisea to read our names as we cross the sanctuary to receive our degrees. This honor is a way for our class to express gratitude for inspiring, guiding, and challenging us throughout our legal education. On behalf of the entire class of 2026, thank you, Professor Alisea. Please stand to be recognized. President Kilpatrick, Provost Dominguez, Dean Payne, Mr. Hoover, esteemed faculty and staff, and most importantly, the members of the class of 2026. Halfway through the first year of law school, we had a midterm in contracts. After I struggled to carefully analyze the issues, Professor Perez reached out and generously offered his help. He told me to brief the cases for the next class and to send them to him so that he could see exactly how I was studying. I labored, obsessed, and meticulously briefed the cases, and I sent them off. Not long after, an email appeared in my inbox. The first line read, "I think this is way too much. And also, it's too little." I remember being utterly confused by this apparent contradiction. But now I understand what Professor Perez meant. I had used a lot of words, but I expressed very little information. Well, Professor Perez, hopefully this is my redemption arc, because I will now try to express years worth of gratitude, memories, and lessons on behalf of 137 graduates in about 5 more minutes. Reflecting on Professor Perez's comment got me thinking about the other apparent contradictions in law school. Not long ago, we each prepared for our first week of class. I, like many of you I'm sure, was nervous. And if, like me, your understanding of what law school would be like came from a mix of horror stories from lawyers, the r/law school Reddit forum, and Legally Blonde, you may have even been scared. You see, law school, these sources told us, is a competitive place. You will be pitted against each other, graded on a curve, and then ranked in order of your academic prowess. And it won't end there, they said, because once you get your grades, you'll have to compete for internships and a spot on the law review and a job. That is, if AI doesn't replace you first. And all of that was true to an extent. But herein lies the first contradiction. Over time, these nameless competitors became peers, and peers became friends. And so as much as we wanted to personally succeed throughout law school, we began wanting each other to succeed in equal measure. Perhaps we weren't prepared for this part, because this is one of the many things that Catholic law does differently. Here we became a part of a community that's built on fellowship and camaraderie and shared success. Here we invested in each other as much as we invested in ourselves. And we saw this in the times that we shared notes with a classmate before they had to ask, when we said congratulations on a LinkedIn job announcement post despite anxiously awaiting an offer of our own, when we welcomed a classmate into our home for the holidays so they didn't have to celebrate alone, and as Dean Payne said, when we debated and strongly disagreed with one another, but also listened. We leave here today having reconciled the contradiction. We will be competitive and ambitious lawyers, but we will also be kind people, because we learned here that you never know when your fiercest competitor may just become a lifelong friend. Other apparent contradictions cropped up in our classrooms. Guided by our professors, we learned that practicing the law is serious, but it can also be creative and joyful. We learned this from Professor Kevin Walsh, who never passed up an opportunity to make us smile, for example, by teaching Marbury versus Madison via musical rendition on an accordion. True story. And from Professor Joel Alisea, who took us to Middle Earth when he instructed us to draft a complaint based on property damage inflicted by the Nazgul at the Prancing Pony Inn. We were taught to have courage in our convictions while maintaining open minds. The law is dynamic, and our perspective will be too. We learned this from Professor Kara Drynan, who taught us the rules of criminal procedure, but also encouraged us to consider the delicate balance between personal liberty on the one hand and security on the other. Importantly, we were taught that we can advocate zealously while showing respect and courtesy to others. We learned this from Professor Lindsay Cloud, who taught us the art of trial advocacy and showed us that success is much more satisfying when you fight with integrity. Finally, we learned that we must respect the law, but that there may come times when we must be bold enough to change it. We learned this from Professor Roger Hartley, or Roger, as he likes to be called, who taught us constitutional law and showed us that many of the privileges, freedoms, and protections we enjoy today were hard fought for by attorneys who were brave enough to stand up and challenge the law. We are graduating in a time where there's a spotlight on the rule of law and the legal profession. We've watched hypotheticals from our classrooms become real-world problems, and we are about to have the unique privilege and immense responsibility of being in the position to solve those problems. We will chart different paths. Some of us will be clerks, associates, others prosecutors or public defenders, but we will all be faced with challenges, moral dilemmas, and judgment calls. The Columbus School of Law has prepared us for those moments because it has taught us to be comfortable navigating apparent contradictions. We are competitive and kind. We take our roles seriously, but we do it with joy. We will have courage in our convictions while maintaining open minds. We will zealously advocate while showing respect for others. And we will respect and uphold the law, but we will be brave enough to challenge it. We are novices, but we are prepared. So with that, I hope I have expressed just enough of what it means to be a graduate of the Catholic University of America, Columbus School of Law. Congratulations to the class of 2026.
Hallie, that was beautiful. Your reminder that the study of law can be both serious and joyful, I think perfectly captures this community. Thank you. At this time, I invite President Peter Kilpatrick, the 16th President of the Catholic University of America, to escort Reynolds Hoover, our commencement speaker, forward to the center of the sanctuary. And I also invite Dean Payne to the podium to read the citation for Mr. Hoover.
In a career defined by service, leadership, and the pursuit of excellence, Lieutenant General retired Reynold N. Hoover has distinguished himself as a steward of institutions and a leader on both the national and global stage. Mr. Hoover serves as Chief Executive Officer of LA28, the organizing committee for the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Los Angeles. In this role, he leads one of the most complex and visible undertakings of our time, bringing together athletes and nations from around the world in a celebration of human achievement, unity, and peace. Prior to LA28, Mr. Hoover built a distinguished career in public service, including senior leadership roles in the United States Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security. His work reflects strategic vision, disciplined execution, and a steadfast commitment to the public good. A graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, Mr. Hoover served as a 3-star lieutenant general in the United States Army, where he developed the leadership principles that have guided his career: clarity of purpose, accountability, and service to others. He has consistently led large, complex organizations with steadiness and resolve, earning the trust of colleagues and communities alike. Mr. Hoover's leadership reflects values central to Catholic legal education: respect for the dignity of every person, a commitment to the rule of law, and a belief in institutions that serve the common good. As he prepares to welcome the world to Los Angeles, he advances a vision of leadership that unites purpose with impact. As the law school celebrates the class of 2026, it is honored to recognize a leader and an alumnus whose career reflects service, perseverance, and excellence. In recognition of his distinguished contributions to public service and international leadership, and for the example he sets for future generations, the Catholic University of America Columbus School of Law is honored to bestow the Presidential Medal upon Reynold Hoover. At this time, I invite Mr. Hoover to the podium to address the class of 2026.
Holy cow. Well, good morning, Catholic University, Columbus School of Law graduates. Give yourselves a great round of applause. You deserve it. Thank you so much. What a great day. President Kilpatrick, Provost Dominguez, and Dean Payne, I can't tell you what a real honor it is to be back here as an alum of this great law school. It is a little bit surreal as I think back, and hard to believe that almost 40 years ago I sat where you all did. And when I was sitting there, I was wondering, like you all maybe are at the moment, like, what's next? Well, I'll tell you what, I am so grateful for the invitation to be here and join with you and celebrate this milestone for the class of 2026. And most especially, I can't tell you how much it means to me to receive the Presidential Medal. So thank you again, President Kilpatrick and Dean Payne, for that honor. Okay, class, you did it. Take a moment, look around. This didn't happen by accident. This took discipline. This took resilience, and this took a lot of late nights. So go ahead, give yourselves another round of applause. You deserve it. So I promise to keep this short. I promise it won't be about me. But in the end, I hope you'll see that really it's about all of you. And it's about what comes next. Even if you weren't Order of the Coif or on law review, and let you in on a little secret, I was neither of those things. Today I stand before you as the CEO of LA28, helping lead the Olympic and Paralympic Games coming to Los Angeles. These will be the largest sporting event in world history and will be the largest Olympics and Paralympics in the history of the Games. But if you had to ask me where I was when I was in your seat nearly 40 years ago, I would never have guessed that this is what I would be doing. It wasn't even close. Being the CEO of LA28, let alone be a 3-star general, was not on my life to-do list. When I graduated from West Point in 1983, I was near the bottom of my class. I was just grateful to have passed calculus along the way, and I was ready to do my time in the Army and move on. I certainly never would have thought that after 35 years in uniform, I would retire as a 3-star general. I'm sure my mother believed it all the time, but it wasn't me. When I decided to try my hand at the law after taking the LSATs 3 times, Catholic was the only law school that let me in. I am pretty confident that my Italian grandmother, her prayers were heard by the admissions committee. And so, Father O'Brien, I really appreciate it. My Nona thanks you as well. And I just can't tell you what Catholic University and the Columbus School of Law did for me, and thank you for that. Because the truth is, I didn't graduate with honors. I wasn't on law review, and I didn't rank near the top of the class. Later, I took a job in a small law firm in Florida doing commercial litigation for about 5 minutes. I think I was the friend of a friend, and they needed an associate. I was pretty sure I wasn't destined for high-profile case-making that was going to make the papers. At least that's the story that I told myself. But then something really surprising happened. I had an unexpected opportunity. I was to represent the Bush campaign in the 2000 recount. And when I say opportunity, what I really mean to say is I was sitting in my office as an associate. It was late in the afternoon, and the phone rang. It was the partner that I had been working with, and he said, "Hey, I need you to get down to the supervisor of election office and argue on an emergency basis about the ballots." I will tell you, at the time, I definitely did not feel worthy of being in that room at the supervisor of elections office when opposing counsel was one of the leading Florida tobacco litigation lawyers. I barely made it to the circuit court. But I put my game face on, and I did the very best I can. And that one opportunity turned into another, and then another. And suddenly, I was no longer the guy with little to no experience, and suddenly the story I thought was already written about me was not. It turns out I wasn't limited by what I lacked. I was limited by what I believed about myself. I thought I was the underdog. But the truth is, underdogs actually win, all the time. You know, in my current role, I'm often asked, what Olympic athlete inspires you the most? Is it Katie Ledecky, Noel Lyles, Jesse Owens? Actually, mine is not the obvious answer. My hero is the underdog, the one nobody expects, the one who shows up anyways, the one who falls, who gets back up and keeps going, the comeback kid, the one who comes in second and comes back next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. Like American runner named Billy Mills. Billy Mills was born on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. He was orphaned at age 12. He was a lieutenant in the Marine Corps. He trained in borrowed shoes. No one expected Billy Mills to win the 10,000-meter race in Tokyo in the Olympics in 1964. Billy Mills entered that race a virtual unknown. But in the final lap, he was shoved around twice by the leaders. And just when everybody believed that the story had already written and the race was already won, Billy Mills saw an opening. He sprinted through it. And in that moment, Billy Mills achieved one of the greatest upsets in sports history. The kind that reminds us that preparation leads to opportunity, and belief is what makes it possible to seize that opportunity. Mills didn't win that race because he was an experienced champion who had done it before. He won because he stayed ready. He stayed tough, and he refused to believe the story that others had written for him. To this day, Billy Mills remains the only American to have ever won that race. And class of 2026, I'll tell you this, the world has got a script. But like Billy Mills, you have the opportunity to write your next chapter. I urge you to go find that video of the 1964 Mills race and watch it, and I dare you not to be choked up. But what is it about Olympic competition that moves us in such a powerful way? What does the power of sport actually mean? And what does it have to do with you? In just 784 days, the Games will come to Los Angeles at a time when the world needs it more than ever. And we are reminded that more than 200 nations and territories can come together and compete, not in conflict, but in sport. More than 15,000 athletes competing in 51 Olympic and 23 Paralympic sports set across 50 iconic venues. For the first time ever in the history of the Olympic movement, we will see more women competing than men. We will witness historic matchups, athletes from every corner of the world pushing each other to the highest levels. Rivals on the field of play will come off it with nothing but respect for each other, standing side by side on the podium. And you know what? We'll see the underdog stand on the highest podium as well and accept the gold. That is the power of sport. And what does it have to do with you? Well, you're all now Juris Doctors, and that wasn't easy. All the blue books are behind you. You're entering the profession of law at a moment of new challenges, higher stakes, and a renewed spotlight on the rule of law. People are paying attention now to lawyers in ways that they haven't done in years. And who knows, maybe lawyer jokes are finally on the decline. The world is constantly changing, but one thing is constant. The world needs underdogs to believe in themselves. At this moment, most of you are probably unknowns. I certainly was. Some of you may feel like an underdog. I know when I was sitting where you are, I did. But here's what I learned. Being an unknown isn't a weakness. Being an underdog isn't a disadvantage. It's an advantage if you use it right. I know that underdogs are the ones to watch. So be the person who says, I'll do it. Raise your hand and say, send me, even when the assignment feels beyond reach. And then show up and give it everything you have. Be bold, be creative, be original. Practice law with a passion, like you've got something to prove. Not prove to others, but to prove to yourself. And when you get pushed around, don't stall, don't adjust, just adjust like Billy Mills did. Find another lane, go around. When things aren't fair, and they won't always be, lean in. Be the lawyer who comes from the outside and changes the outcome. You will never regret seizing the opportunity to go for the gold. Our school, this school, trained you to think about the law, and not just about the law, but about the pursuit of justice, about the values of character, and most importantly, about the values of humanity. There will be times when your patience will be tested, and you'll need to hold those values that the Catholic University Columbus School of Law gave you firm. Our country needs lawyers who remember why they showed up, and all of you today are an emblem of that. You are exactly the moment that this calls for. You've already proven it in your time here that you have what it takes. You know what success tastes like. You're living it right now. Reflect on those challenges you've overcome and make them into your advantage. Today you've crossed the finish line, but tomorrow you're going to step up to a new starting line. And what happens next? Well, that's entirely up to you. In a couple of years, many of you will be deep in your careers, busy, building something, finding your footing, maybe starting a family. But I urge you not to just to stop and look up for a moment. Come to Los Angeles in the summer of 2028 and see what happens when the world's best and the world's underestimated stand on the same stage, and see for yourselves how the underdog reminds us of what's possible. Come see new stories being written just as you began yours right here today. So congratulations, class of 2026 Juris Doctors. I can't wait to see where the belief in yourselves take you and what you go on to achieve because of it. God bless all of you, and congratulations. Thank you.
If any of you are thinking of taking Reynolds up on his invitation to LA 2028 and getting tickets from him, you'll have to wait in line. Reynold, we're truly grateful for your service as our commencement speaker and for the example you're setting through your leadership, your distinguished career in public service, and your work bringing people together on a truly global stage. Your example is one that will stay with our graduates as they begin their own paths in the legal profession. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the conferral of degrees. It is my honor to invite President Peter Kilpatrick to the podium. Will the graduates please rise for the conferral of degrees earned in course? After President Kilpatrick has conferred your degrees, you will be directed to come up to receive your diploma. President Kilpatrick, as the Dean of the Columbus School of Law, it is my privilege to present candidates for the degrees of Juris Doctor and Master of Laws who have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Academic Senate.
By virtue of the authority committed to me as President of the Catholic University of America, I am very pleased to confer the Juris Doctor or Master of Laws degrees for which you have been individually recommended by the law school and by the Academic Senate. I extend my personal congratulations in the universities to each of you.
Graduates, you may now come forward to be hooded and to receive your diplomas. As Professor Alisea calls your name, please step forward to be hooded by Senior Assistant Dean Stuart Shept, be congratulated by President Kilpatrick, and then go to Dean Payne to receive your diploma and pause for a photograph.
Audrey Elizabeth Ganley. Sarah Christine Halko, cum laude. Taylor Marie Talley. Joseph Thomas Nazaro, cum laude. Jasmine S. Roundtree. Hallie Rebecca Woods, cum laude. Nia Miriam Pitasserel. Jared B. Vallejos. Caitlin Elizabeth Unkel. Cameron Jules Collins, cum laude. Alexander K. Kagan, cum laude. Sophia Gerges. Atticus Eugene Kane, cum laude. Victoria Michelle Agamalian, cum laude. Munir S. Amer. Hey, we got soon. He's singing. Albert Anine. Audrey Enderley, cum laude. John Dimitrios Andrikos.
John, see, we can daddy it. Items of it. Great works. Thanks.
Alondra Ayala Correa.
Congratulations.
Cyrus A. Banta.
Great work.
Amal Berada.
Congratulations.
Victoria Marie Biondolillo, magna cum laude. Michaela L. Babitsky, cum laude. Stephen Paul Bonk, cum laude. Elizabeth Brooks, cum laude. Chloe Chapla Butler. Alexa Lauren Cahill.
Masum daga betins.
Brianna Noani Heban Canadin. Jack Aiden Cherico. Yi Ching Chu.
Congratulations.
Wansup Chung, cum laude. Jacob J. Camello, cum laude. Marlene D. Cosme. Caroline V.J. Dabre. Nisa Mandarino de Betancourt. Anthony DiCaprio, cum laude.
Dude, that's fucking bad idea.
Christine Anna Dedulis. Rayful A. Demetrius. Nicholas Thomas Devine. Joseph Edward Deemer. Noah Griffin Edwards. Ilyana Elder. Trevor S. Esper. Morgan Fall.
Congratulations.
Alexa Rachel Finkelstein. Nicole M. Fisher.
Congratulations.
Nathan J. Frank, cum laude.
Go. Congratulations, guys.
Matthew Ryan Gage.
Congratulations. You have the efficacy. The readiness of it.
Allison Mary Goudreau.
Some great congratulations.
Chiara Emilia Giarusso. Lorna Elizabeth Gilmore. Madison Dibble Gonzalez, cum laude.
Congratulations.
Natasha L. Hawley. Rachel Healy Morrison. Logan Holmes, magna cum laude. Ian Verdaguer Homan. Christopher Noel Horton.
Gary, this hard. That's
Emily Bryant Hutchinson.
congratulations. Baby.
Anna C. Jones, cum laude.
Thank you, Barry.
Tyler Joseph Cachadorian. Zachary Alexander Kaler. Michael Tyrone Kaiser. Nathan J. Kim. Lucy Boswell Cook, magna cum laude. Andrew Lewis, summa cum laude. Sophie Patricia Lovett, cum laude. Lara Eilish McLeod, magna cum laude. Alden Lee McCrae. Julia E. Miles. Ethan Alexander Militich. Matthew Jacob Millsman. Calypso Muskokoritis, cum laude. Maya Alana Namias. Zachary Peter Novak, magna cum laude. Benjamin David Perez, summa cum laude. Valentina C. Perez Gutierrez. Rachel Lee Phillips. Gabriella Marie Pirazzoli. Jessica Blake Potter, cum laude. Wasim Wal Kahush. Andrea Lee Quinnen.
You gotta go too. You know.
Farland Tana Ramsey, magna cum laude. Thomas J. Rea. Edward John Reddington II, magna cum laude. Anne Lee Reed. Caroline Bailey Reed. Rebecca Lillian Regis. Alexa Michelle Rivas. Karina Rodriguez. Morgan L. Rose.
Okay. You gotta do it. Oh, yeah. Okay. All the hard work.
Thomas Seigel Rota.
Right here. Hippie.
Elliot James Riddell. Dane Thomas Salmon. Isabela M. Santiago. Lawrence J. Shamus. Trenton Neal Shook, cum laude. Thomas F. Showalter, cum laude. Gregory Stryker, cum laude. Jessica Elizabeth Sullivan. Eleanor Louise Tidman, cum laude. Christian Anderson Trowbridge III. Cynthia Veronica Turcios. Damian K. Usita. Sabah Vadashore, cum laude. Mark Vincent Ventry. Stephanie Marie Villalobos. Adil Partap Singh Virk, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Mary Webster, summa cum laude. Lucy Marlena West, summa cum laude. Anthony David Wilcox. Robert Winton Winship IV. Reagan Decker Yateman, cum laude. Olivia Hope Zablocki. Susana Blanco, Master of Laws. Alexandra Dombek, Master of Laws. Piotr Luberda, Master of Laws. Konrad Jezik Panek, Master of Laws. Mikhailina Zepur Shibi, Master of Laws. Got it? Okay.
Of course, Katie's always there to remind me it's my turn. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2026 of the Columbus School of Law at the Catholic University of America. Please be seated. I'm delighted to welcome Megan LaBelle, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professor of Law, to the podium for the presentation of the John L. Garvey Faculty Awards.
The faculty named this award in honor of John L. Garvey, Professor Emeritus, recognizing his 49 years of dedicated service to the law school as dean, teacher, scholar, and colleague. These awards recognize outstanding academic achievement during the law school course of study and are conferred upon graduates from the part-time and full-time divisions. The John L. Garvey Faculty Award for the student with the highest academic average in the part-time evening division is presented to Benjamin Perez. Ben, please come to the stage using the center staircase. In addition to his exceptional academic accomplishments, Ben served as a staff editor on Law Review, worked as a research assistant for Professor Regina Jefferson, and spent a summer with the law firm Cleary Gottlieb, experiences that further reflect the intellectual rigor and professionalism that have defined his time at Catholic law. Following graduation, Ben will clerk for Judge Edward H. Myers on the United States Court of Federal Claims, where he will work on complex cases involving government contracts and federal claims. Congratulations, Ben. This year, the John L. Garvey Faculty Award for the highest academic average in the full-time day division is presented to Andrew Lewis. Andy, please come to the stage using the center staircase. At Catholic law, Andy distinguished himself not only academically, but also through meaningful leadership and service across the community. He served as a Dean's Academic Fellow, a member of Law Review, and a participant in the Moot Court Association, while also earning the law school's ex corde designation. Andy further contributed to the law school's Federalist Society chapter through multiple leadership roles. Following graduation, Andy will clerk for Judge Kyle Duncan on the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, one of the nation's most prominent federal appellate courts. Congratulations to Ben and Andy and all of our graduates.
Thank you, Dean LaBelle. I'm honored to introduce our next presenter, Michael Curtin, a distinguished graduate of the Columbus School of Law, now more than 60 years ago from the class of 1965. In the 6 decades since he began his legal practice, Mike has built a successful practice in trusts, estate planning, and litigation. Throughout this time, his dedication to our law school and commitment to pro bono work have remained constant. Mike's extensive pro bono efforts and the significant time he dedicates to compassionately protecting justice have long set the standard for what it means to serve others, including our law school. In 2008, the law school established the Michael F. Curtin Pro Bono Awards in recognition of his outstanding service. These awards honor students who exemplify Mike's dedication to serving others by providing critical legal services. We're truly privileged to have Mike here today to present the Pro Bono Awards. Mr. Curtin?
Thank you. Thank you. We are incredibly proud of our law students who have consistently demonstrated their commitment to ensuring access to justice through pro bono work. The class of 2026 alone dedicated over 11,000 hours of pro bono service during their time here at the law school. The Michael F. Curtin Pro Bono Award is presented annually to a law student from both the day and evening divisions who exemplifies Catholic law's highest ideals through extraordinary pro bono service. These students volunteer their time with various organizations, helping thousands of individuals while also contributing to the law school community. I'm proud to announce that the 2026 part-time evening division recipient of the Michael F. Curtin Pro Bono Award is Cynthia Tercios. Cynthia, please come forward. While balancing the demands of evening law study and full-time work as a paralegal specialist in the Office of Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, Cynthia completed more than 300 hours of pro bono service supporting immigrants, criminal justice reform efforts, and legal aid incentives across the region. From her service at the Stewart Immigration Detention Center to her leadership within the Student Bar Association and Evening Law Student Association, Cynthia has consistently demonstrated compassion, dedication, and profound commitment to community service. Her example reminds us that the practice of law is at its heart a vocation of service. Following graduation, Cynthia will remain with the Office of Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Please join me in congratulating Cynthia. In recognition of his dedication to pro bono service, it is my pleasure to present the Michael F. Curtin Pro Bono Award for the full-time day division student to Albert New 9. Albert, come forward. Over the course of his law school career, Albert completed an extraordinary 417 hours of pro bono service across a wide range of organizations serving workers, immigrants, children, and underserved communities throughout the Washington, D.C. area. Beyond the sheer number of hours, Albert has distinguished himself through consistent leadership, generosity toward fellow students, and a deep commitment to justice for those most in need. Whether through the Workers' Rights Clinic, student leadership, or mentoring fellow students, Albert has been a model to what it means to serve with both excellence and humility. Following graduation, Albert will be clerking for James Eisenhower in the Court of Common Pleas for the 1st Judicial District of Pennsylvania. Please join us in congratulating Albert.
Thank you, Mike. Congratulations to Cynthia and Albert. Our next presenter also exemplifies alumni commitment and dedication to the Columbus School of Law As president of our Alumni Council, an adjunct teacher and mentor to many students, Carl Hobbs has been an invaluable asset to our community. Carl, a 2016 law school graduate, currently serves as Deputy Counsel to the Inspector General in the Office of Inspector General for the United States Department of Agriculture. He's also been a valued member, as I mentioned, of our adjunct faculty, voted as Adjunct Professor of the Year in 2023. And if you did the math, then you'll know it's been exactly 10 years since Carl sat where our graduates are sitting today. We're so happy to have him back to present the Alumni Association Awards to both a part-time evening and a full-time day division student. Please join me in welcoming Carl Hobbs to the podium.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. The Law School Alumni Association Award, established in 1978, recognizing one graduating student from both the part-time evening and full-time day divisions whose contributions to Catholic law extend well beyond the classroom. These students have distinguished themselves not only through academic achievement, but also through meaningful involvement in the life of the law school and a demonstrated commitment to serving this community with generosity, leadership, and spirit. I now ask the recipients to please join me at the podium by way of the center stairs. In recognition of his unwavering commitment to Catholic University and his fellow students, we are delighted to bestow the Part-Time Evening Division Award to Wansup Chung. Throughout his time at Catholic law, Wansup has distinguished himself through extraordinary leadership, generosity towards his classmates, and deep commitment to the law school community. He served as executive editor of the Law Review, president of the Asian Pacific American Law Students Association, a member of the graduation committee, and secretary of the parent group. Following graduation, he will join Miles in Stockbridge as an associate, bringing that same thoughtful professionalism and steady leadership that have made him such a valued member of this community. Please join me in congratulating Wansup. On behalf of the Law School's Alumni Association, we are proud to present the Full-Time Day Division Award to Sarah Webster. Sarah has been an extraordinary member of the Catholic law community, known for her academic excellence, leadership, and service to her classmates. She served as a Dean's Academic Fellow, Associate Editor of Law Review, and Vice Chancellor of the Second Thaler Sutherland Moot Court Competition, while also earning the law school's ex corde designation. As president of the St. John Paul II Guild of Catholic Lawyers, Sarah helped foster community and spiritual life within the law school, including launching a weekly rosary gathering followed by coffee hours that brought students together in friendship and fellowship. Following graduation, Sarah will clerk for Judge Maria Lanahan and then for Judge Sarah Pitlick in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Missouri, an exceptional accomplishment that reflects both her talent and bright future ahead of her. Congratulations to both Wansup and Sarah. Several graduates today are following in the footsteps of the members of their families who are alumni of the Columbus School of Law and are forever members of the Catholic University community. The alumni we recognize today are no longer with us, but their legacy lives on in the graduates we celebrate. We know they will be enormously proud to see their families continuing in the Catholic law tradition.
I would like to present our All in the Family list for the graduating class of 2026. I asked our graduates to stand as their name is called. Caitlin Uncle, granddaughter of Robert King, class of 1969. Reagan Yateman, son of Douglas Yateman, class of 1995. And while not technically part of our All in the Family alumni tradition, we'd also like to recognize a special Catholic Law family connection this morning. Will Christine Dedulis please stand? Christine is the daughter of Constantia Dedulis. If she's here, please stand as well. Who has faithfully served the law school as director of institutes and special programs for more than 30 years. Congratulations to the entire class of 2026, and a warm welcome to the Catholic Law Alumni Association.
Thank you, Carl. As Dean of the Law School, it is my great privilege to speak on behalf of our entire community, our entire faculty and staff, in offering our heartfelt congratulations and warmest wishes to the graduates of the class of 2026. You graduate today with our admiration, our confidence, and our good hope for you that you will bring good to the world and to the profession and the communities you serve. And wherever your path may lead, know that Catholic law will always remain your professional home. We hope you will stay close to this community and to one another in the years to come. It is now my honor to invite the President of the Catholic University of America, Peter Kilpatrick, back to the podium to address the class of 2026.
Thanks, Steve.
Not long ago, if you wanted an answer, you had to go looking for it through books, through case law, through careful study of archives. Today, you ask a question and you receive a response in seconds. A machine can draft a memo. It can summarize precedent and complicated chronologies. And it can seem to mimic the pattern and structure of legal reasoning. It is, by any measure, quite remarkable. But it also raises a quiet and important question. If a machine can produce some kind of an answer to nearly any question, what then is the role of the lawyer or any professional? That question is not theoretical for you, members of the class of 2026. It is the world you are walking into right now. And the answer, I would suggest, lies in something much deeper than information, deeper than efficiency, even deeper than the rudiments of human intelligence, content, analysis, pattern recognition. The answer, I would suggest, lies in what it really means to be human. It lies in judgment and in trust. Because the law has never been simply about producing answers. It has been about discerning and judging the best answer within a human context, shaped by competing goods, real consequences, and moral weight. And it is about being believed and trusted in having the best answer. Artificial intelligence can process vast amounts of data literally in seconds. It can identify patterns. It can predict outcomes within some confidence limits. But it cannot stand in a courtroom and take responsibility for a life-altering outcome. It cannot counsel a client who is afraid or grieving or uncertain. It cannot weigh justice against mercy, or when the law calls for firmness, or when it calls for grace. In a word, artificial intelligence cannot be virtuous. Only persons can be virtuous, because virtuous is the choosing of good over evil. It is choosing compassion over vengeance, faith over fear, prudence over brashness, justice for the common good over selfish interest. A machine cannot be virtuous because a machine cannot judge properly among all the competing goods, and a machine is not informed by a moral conscience. That work remains firmly and irreducibly your work. And this is where your formation at the Columbus School of Law here at the Catholic University of America matters the most. Because a Catholic legal education does not stop at teaching you how to think. It asks, just as urgently, what is the purpose and the proper end of your thinking? It insists that the law is not an abstract system, but a human one, ordered toward justice and mercy, grounded in the infinite dignity of every human person, and sustained by those willing to serve it with integrity. In an age of powerful tools, that formation becomes even more important. You will use these technologies, and you should. They will make you more efficient, more informed, more productive, and in many ways, more capable lawyers. But they will never relieve you of the burden or the privilege of judgment and of being virtuous. And so the distinction of a Catholic law lawyer in this new age will not be whether you use AI. You almost certainly must use it. It will be how you use it and toward what ends. Will you allow it to replace careful thought, or will you let it sharpen your thought? Will you use it to move faster or to think more deeply? Will you treat it as an authority or as a tool, one that always remains subject to your reason, your ethics, your conscience, and your responsibility? Because at the end of the day, no algorithm or machine signs a brief. No program takes an oath, and no machine can ultimately be trusted. But you will take an oath, and that oath binds you not only to competence, but to conscience. In the years ahead, the lawyers who will matter most will not be those who can simply generate answers. They will be those who can be trusted with judgment, with integrity, and with the care of others. And this is the lawyer that this community has trained for many, many years, and who we strive to form yet today. Congratulations, class of 2026. May you go forward with clarity of mind, steadiness of judgment, and a deep sense of the responsibility of your vocation. May God bless all of you.
Thank you, President Kilpatrick, and thank you once again, students, for showing who we are. I'm so glad that, unlike at some other schools these days, our president was not booed for talking about AI. That's really a special mark here. We're honored by your presence today, Mr. President, and very thankful for your thoughtful remarks. Your leadership and continued support of the law school have helped strengthen this community in meaningful ways. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to rise for the benediction, which will be delivered by our university chaplain and Vice President of Ministry and Mission, Father Aquinas Gilbo. Father?
The Lord be with you. Bow down for the blessing. May the God of justice and peace, who brought again from the dead our Lord Jesus Christ, that great shepherd of the sheep and author of justice and charity, make you perfect in every good work to do his will. As servants and scholars of the law, may you be, after the example of St. Thomas More, trustworthy with confidences, keen in study, accurate in analysis, correct in conclusion, able in argument, loyal to clients, honest to all, courteous to adversaries, and ever attentive to conscience. May God's work to justify souls inform your work to justify our land. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit come down on you and remain with you forever. Amen.
Congratulations once again to our graduates and to the families and friends who have supported you along the way. I ask that the audience please remain in place until the faculty and our graduates have recessed from the shrine. Following the ceremony, you are warmly invited to join us for a reception in honor of our graduates at the law school. We'll be indoors more than we had hoped to be, but we're still gathering and celebrating together, even with the rain. I now officially declare this academic convocation for the 2026 commencement of the Columbus School of Law concluded. Congratulations.